Good evening. Sydney's housing crisis just got worse, with a major developer falling into administration, owing billions of dollars, with angry buyers in limbo, not knowing what to do next.
The Bathler Group has 22,000 apartments and more than 3,000 houses in the pipeline. But their financial dealings have now raised serious questions in state parliament.
This is meant to be Janice Carl's dream apartment. She paid Bathler 3 years ago and it's still not finished.
Oh my God, what's going to happen to my money? What's going to happen to me?
The company announcing it's gone into voluntary administration, handing over financial control. Managing Director Bart Busan claiming softening in sales impacts from the federal government's May budget and falling confidence in key markets. Administrators Teneo already moving into the Girraween headquarters, going through the numbers. The administrator saying its priority is to stabilise the business so the construction activity and property settlements can continue.
They are kind of making dreams come true.
The company is still all over social media, showing off completed projects in places like Schofield, Marsden Park and Tallawong, all aimed at young families.
We already started referring a couple of our friends and extended families.
The builder, part of a group with liabilities estimated at more than $3 billion. That group has more than 400 companies, raising questions in Parliament.
The Bathler Group is an ongoing concern in terms of its finances. It's clear.
Why can't you do anything about it?
Well, I said we have to go through our entire legal process.
Tonight, properties are still on offer for sale in Sydney's southwest, northwest and the Hunter. Those who've tried to buy the Australian dream, unimpressed.
Where's my $60,000 and where's my $23,000 stamp duty?
And Taylor Aiken is live at State Parliament. Taylor, what's been the response from the Building Commissioner?
Well, and Bathler was already in the sights of the building regulator, which had inspected its properties more than 40 times in recent months. The Building Commission telling 7 News it is aware of Bathler being placed into voluntary administration and encouraging customers, clients, contractors and owners to reach out to the assigned administrator. This collapse further dampening the state government's lofty ambitions to build hundreds of thousands of new homes, with the impact of this collapse set to be felt hardest in the southwest and in the north, both key growth areas.
Taylor Aiken, thank you. Sydney's rail network has been plunged into chaos for the second time in a fortnight, again because of overhead wiring issues.
The morning commute was completely derailed for many passengers, forced onto already packed metros and late buses.
Packed on the platform at Chatswood Station, Sydney's trains coming from the north towards the city at a standstill.
I think this trip's taken me like 2 hours.
A snapped cable in the overhead wiring triggering urgent repairs at the worst possible time. The T1 and T9 lines at a halt from Hornsby to North Sydney during morning peak hour. Thousands queuing for the replacement buses and extra metro services.
Well, the trains were delayed. The buses were also late.
Everyone's really packed on the metro line. There's people actually pushing in, squeezing into the carriages, which is not very pleasant.
The queue moving ever so slowly. Train service notice boards showing cancelled service after cancelled service. It wasn't until just after midday the network got back up and running. Sydney Trains apologising.
The incident is under investigation. Our priority at the moment has been about repairs and restoration of services.
Making delays even worse, services on the North Shore and Western T1 line and the Eastern Suburbs T4 line were thrown off track by separate medical incidents at Strathfield and Central Station. At Redfern just 11 days ago, train lines were stopped during the peak hour rush home due to more overhead cabling issues.
They have both caused significant delays for passengers, and that's what concerns me.
It took hours for timetables to return to normal, with some minor delays reported during this afternoon's peak period. As commuters make their way home this evening, Sydney Trains are adamant that further disruptions to the network are unlikely. But with this being the second fault to the same equipment in just 11 days, the reliability of the infrastructure is under intense scrutiny tonight.
OK, Rex Quayle, thank you. The Richmond Tigers AFL team has admitted it's embarrassed by its Mad Monday antics, but denies it was making light of the Sydney Swans hotel scandal. The player behaviour was caught on camera and sent to 7 News. It's dividing opinion about the code's culture standards.
Mad Monday fun or Bad Monday blunder? Richmond's end-of-season blowout, whips and slaps, players seemingly mocking the Swans hotel room scandal, dividing AFL opinion.
I think you just look stupid. I think after a 3-win season, you finish 17th, you're there with your top off, carrying on like a fool.
They've gone to an hour away, they haven't dressed up, they're just having a drink.
They'd booked a remote pub 70 kilometres away, a private function. The video supplied. From the pub, we could not speak more highly of the way they conducted themselves. A few quiet beers, nothing wrong with that.
They seemed nice, they just seemed like they were having fun, nothing wrong.
But women's advocates saying there's no humour mocking an alleged sexual assault.
We know that sporting culture can very easily foster an environment where women are dehumanised and violence against them celebrated.
The club late this afternoon, though, released a statement. While they admitted embarrassment, they were absolutely adamant they were neither referencing or making light of the Swan scandal. That, as the Swans' assistant coach was today officially named Essendon head coach. The team Sydney beat just hours before the scandal erupted.
Just shocked, absolutely shocked.
Mark McVeigh, confident the Swans' dramas wouldn't follow.
I'm big on the values, I'm big on the culture and the club.
Chris Reason, 7 News.
The 3 Scots College schoolboys accused of sexually assaulting a teenage girl in a Bondi Junction alley have faced children's court for the first time. Clementine Cuneo is outside the court in Surrey Hills this evening. Clem, the students were supported by their parents.
That's right, Mark. Yes, they were. One 13-year-old boy and 2 boys aged 14 arrived here this morning with their parents and lawyers for the brief mention. We legally can't identify the alleged offenders or their family, yet some still chose to hide their faces under baseball caps and behind sunglasses. All 3 are accused of an hour-long sexual assault of a 14-year-old girl in a Bondi Junction alley on June 22. The judge noted that all 3 had been subjected to repercussions since they were charged. 2 have copped online threats and 1 has allegedly had his house vandalised. The matter will be back in court on October 20, but in the meantime, all 3 are banned from going within 200 metres of the alleged victim. They must not leave their houses at night unless they're in the company of parents, and they must not associate with each other unless it's during school hours.
OK, Clementine Cuneo, thank you. A new political fight is brewing over data centres. The AI energy hubs are on track to become Australia's biggest electricity consumers in the next decade, and governments are already split on how to power them.
Angus Taylor down and out on a roundabout. Whoa! His poly-pedal charity ride becoming a charity slide.
What hurts most this morning?
Everything. As Anthony Albanese takes Cabinet on the road to Perth.
And we come to this state because you've got to come to the West to understand the West.
One topic, the AI data centre boom. A report by the energy market operator predicting their energy use will explode by 700% over the next decade. The average household uses 15 kilowatt hours of energy a year. Data centres today, 5 billion kilowatt hours. By 2036, they'll use 34 billion, equal to every house in New South Wales and Victoria combined.
We're requiring new data centres to bring our own new renewable energy backed by gas firming.
Setting the scene for a national cabinet showdown tomorrow. Queensland rejecting the renewables only policy, wanting the option of powering its data centres with coal and gas.